Well, hello to you. I am currently in the process of transferring a map from Farming Simulator 15 to Farming Simulator 17. It's not my map, it's a map that I played in Farm Sim 15, and I'd like to play with it in Farm Sim 17. As far as I can tell, it's not being moved over, so I'm going to move it myself and see how I go. Bit of fun anyway. And it occurred to me this morning, it might be a good idea to share what I'm doing with you, just to show you how the process works, how to do your basic stuff. I won't be uploading this because it's not mine. If you want to upload a converted map, you do need the permission of the mod author. So this is a map. It's just going to be me using it, nobody else. So I'm not doing anything wrong. Okay. The first thing you're going to need anyway is of course the map that you want to convert, and here's mine. I don't know, you can look around if you like. There's not a lot to see. There's some buildings in the distance and roads and trees, but it's open. Very important, you need Giants Editor 64-bit or whatever, version 6 something for this, not version 7. Version 7 is this, and it is for Farming Simulator 17. So 6 is for 15, 7 is for 17. Okay. So I've got my map, the one I want to convert, and I've put it in a folder somewhere in my documents. You put it where you like, really. And I'll click on it. Sorry, my mouse isn't pointing in the right place. It never does. It is to me, not for you. So here's the map anyway. It has Dajigazdasag. Is the map that I am converting. So I just right clicked on that and I extract to, and the folder name has Dajigazdasag, and it's created this folder for me with the map in it, extracted from the zip file. Now next you're going to need a blank map for Farming Simulator 17. Here it is. Go to Mod Hoster. Make sure you've selected 2017 in the little section at the top. Go to categories. Don't go to mods, it won't work. Go to categories. Maps and buildings, big maps. And as you go down to big maps, right, this is second to last one. I saw this on another YouTube video from some of the guy who was doing this, and I can't find the video anymore, but this is the one he recommended to me. I'll put a link to it down below. It does only have positive comments, which is a good thing. It's not the most popular in number of downloads, but the other one doesn't have any as more negative comments, shall we say. So anyway, so I downloaded that one, and I've actually put that one into my games, and I've actually put this into the mods folder of Farming Simulator 2017. So I put it in here. I right clicked. It's not this file, of course, and I did extract to, again, whatever the folder was. I renamed the folder to something, doesn't matter what. And now, as you can see, I have a very basic structure for whatever I want to do with regard to map building. Now this basic flat map, that's what you see here. Okay, if you just turn around and you can see it's empty, but it has got like these things, animals and so on. There's one thing about this map you need to know, and that is here, the store place. There is something wrong here, and if you highlight that, you can see user attributes. If you don't see that window, just click on this menu here at the top, window menu, and go down to user attributes, and it will show the user attributes. Okay, down there. So anyway, there's a bit of a problem here. This is max width, max length. That's the size of the vehicles that you can place in when you buy stuff. So if you've got something that's bigger than 15 by 5, you try to buy it and the shop will say, I can't buy that. So all you need to do is remove those and save your map, and that's it. And then your map's ready to go. That is the only problem with this map, apparently. So having done that, Save it, close Giants editor for Farming Simulator 2017. I'm going to switch over, bit of a long way, but I have to switch over to my Farm Sim 15. There it is. This is the mod I'm moving. Okay, and go to map. From map, you go into map 01. Down here, I've made the preview thing nice and big. There's it's called a file called map01_dem.png. It's a funny looking thing, green with red lines on it and so on. Right click and copy that. Go back to my documents, wherever you've put your Farming Simulator 17 map, the one you're working on my way there now, and find maps folder, find the same folder in it, map 01 again, and there we go, and paste it into here. Now I've actually already done it, as you can see. So paste it into your new mod, your 2017 map thing. Can't remember if I said, but the actual name of the folder, I mean, mine's called #17. You call it what you like. You can call it My Stupid Map if you want to. It really doesn't matter. So that's the next stage. Well, that's the first stage. Now you need to go into what I did next. I went into Farm Sim 17, loaded it up, drove around a bit. There's always a pickup waiting for you. So I got into the pickup, drove around a bit, and that was it. I had it. Everything was working just fine. Next, I went back into Giants Editor. Sorry again, you're joining me sort of part way through doing this, so I'm sorry that you sort of, I can't show you the very beginning bits, but you're not missing a lot anyway. So again, we're still looking at the FS15 of the finished mod. This is what I'm hoping to have when I've finished. Here I'm in the FS17 one, so I'm going to open that by double clicking on maps and then map 01, and it gives me a choice there. Do I want version 6 or 7? I want version 7 because it's Farm Sim 17 for this one. And there it is. Okay. Now, I've obviously right away it looks different. That file we just copied in. Oh God, if I can zoom in on a bit, I suppose if you look, you can see I've moved some of the roads across as well. So you're sort of, this is what I mean. You're joining me part way in. Oh, it's a good place to zoom in. So you can see where the ground is kind of not flat anymore, and that's come from that file, the PNG file. Which I just showed you, told you to copy across to your new FS17 map. So it used to be flat, it's now got hills and stuff in it. Now, of course, driving around there, I couldn't tell where the roads were, so I thought, well, the next thing is going to be move roads. So, back to the FS15 map, and this is where you have to hope for a good map. If you've got a map that's kind of stuff all over the place, in this list, the scenograph thing over here on the left, this column here, you're going to have trouble. Now, the only trouble I've got is that it's in Hungarian, so I had to sort of click around a bit like this until I think it was, no, that must be trees. Follow? No. Not fields. Don't want to do. No, I can't find it now. Hatar? No. Funny, really, isn't it? Not that one. Not that one. No, definitely not those. There it is. Right. So if you click on the right, I clicked on the right one here, and look, I've got all the roads have been highlighted. So what I did next, I did File, Export Selection with Files. So that gives you textures and all that stuff. Okay. Now you need to find your FS17 map, and by luck I'm actually there. And what I did, I went into Objects and I created a folder, new folder called Temp. Within there, I created a new folder called Infra. Double click on Infra. And then I just called it, as you can see, I typed in roads. You can type in whatever you like and give it a name. And it exported for me all the roads on the map that I had, everything I had selected, together with shaders, textures, and models for those items. So I exported those. I went over to the FS17 version, which was here. File, import, and you can see I went into again objects, temp. I'll explain why it's temp later. Infra, it stands for infrastructure, but it's kind of whatever. It's temporary anyway. Found roads, double click to open it. It put these down, and it actually put them in already in the right place, as you can see. So I was rather lucky there. Now I don't know if that always happens or not, but it did for me. Just to be certain of where things were, what I did, I went back to this map. Okay, let me unselect that, and you can see I moved one of these trees and I put it right there. I thought, well, that's a place on the other map I can check, and I can see, well, what's that? So I just selected that tree, file, export selection with files, and I went again into temp. I went to, was it infra? And I called it marker tree, and I just did that, and then it went switched over here, file, import. I selected, where is it? Infra, called it marker tree, so select that, open, and it, by luck, it put it there. So you can see now I've got sort of a point of reference. Click there, there you go. So I've got a nice little point of reference there, and I could see right away, yeah, it's sort of lined up. Might be a tiny bit out, but I think it's all right. Anyway, so that's proved to me, yeah, I had them in the right place. Again, next I went in and I drove around all the roads, having a look, see what was there. And of course then you got the problem of, where the heck am I, and how is this working now? I tried to fix that, it didn't quite work out. I'll show you what I did. I went into documents and went back to the original map folder. Here we are. This is what I'd unzipped, remember? And in here there's a map, there's a file, and it's this one. It's called pdamap.dds. I copied that and I put it in. I'll open up another thing. I'll put it into my games. So this is the folder I was working in. Okay, so let's see. That's in the root of the mod folder. So is that? It wasn't there then, was it? It must have been. I'll tell you what, I'll find it in here. Map. That's right, because it had changed. So in the FS17 mod folders, I went into maps. So the name of my map and then maps. And what I did is I copied pdamap.dds from the old one. And I pasted it into here. Just did a paste. And I changed the name, look, _H. That seems to be the thing for FS17, that they've changed the name. Now, this one is something else. Map 01 previews. It's map, PDA map anyway. So do that, and I'll show you what that did in a moment or two when we actually go in and look at what I've done. Now, I went in, I drove around again, made sure this is what I just copy and pasted. That's actually the file that it's the little map in the bottom left hand corner of your screen. That's that file I just copied across. Should put the map in there, so you could hopefully you'll be able to look when you're driving around. You'll have the little map down in the corner, and I thought, well, then I'll know where I am. Didn't actually work out quite as I hoped, but I'll show you that in a minute. Lastly, I thought, well, I need a point of reference again. So I've put something else in here. Again, it's there. Okay. Now, this is a group of buildings, obviously. This is the FS17 map you're looking at. So all I was doing, I was just zoomed out a bit, and I thought, well, this is where the farm is. So I thought, well, if I can find that and move that across, that'll give me a very good point of reference, and I can see what it looks like. So again, I'm just clicking around. Got it. File, export selection with files. I went into temp. I went into main farm. As I created a folder, I called it main farm. I just typed a file name. Obviously, you can see I typed in main farm. You don't need the i3D. The thing will put that in there for you. So you just do main farm. Call it what you like. It doesn't matter. It's actually a village anyway. So you know. But so I did that. Went across here. File. Import. And across here, that selected that one, imported it, and it put it in the right place again. I'm getting so lucky. Now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to move something else across, so you'll actually see this happening. Now, I have thought about moving all the trees because it is very difficult to figure out what's that. Oh, now that'd be very useful. That'd be really useful. Fold it. Is that? Yeah. So let's have a look at that. That'll be handy. I can figure out where things are from that. That's really good. So you can see what I've just done anyway. I've zoomed in. And what I've selected, I can move across here. That is this thing down here. Oop, there. So I selected that, and I could see in the scenograph this thing on the left here. What was actually selected was folded, part of folder. So if I look here now, I've got that. I think there's probably some of it. Yeah, some on the other side, over there. Yeah. So I'm just doing this one at a time. Okay. So I'm gonna file, export selection with files, and objects temp. I'll make a new folder. I'll call it lanes. That's what we call them. Dirt tracks, whatever you like. Doesn't really matter as long as you can remember. And I'm going to call this lanes. And save. So I can now switch across to my FS17. File. Import. And I'll go to temp. Lanes. That was it. Double click. There it is. So you see what I've got now? I've got roads, I've got these, which go around the edges of the fields, and that's what I want. That's perfect. So I'm going to save that one. And wait. Takes a little while, but when the more as you sort of add things to the map, it'll add it fine. It has added it in the right place. If I compare it to this one, let's have a look, see where is it. It's actually not there. That's the pigs. This is all me. It's this here. Can you see? You can sort of make out that building there. This one. Sort of behind there, that thing. So just before we go into look at the map, actually, one thing I want to show you is the career start point. It's this thing. Now, what I did for this, I'll explain what I did first, and then actually sort of explain why what it is. No, I'll tell you what it is first. You know, when you load up a map and you're standing in a particular place looking at outside a farmhouse or somewhere like that, it's a career start point defines where you're going to be standing. So what I did is, this is the old FS15 one. And this is the FS17 one. Now, career start point in here, you've got all these numbers, attributes over there. I pasted the attributes X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z into career start point. Like that. That's all I did. And what that did then, I was lucky it put it in the right place. I did sort of move it a bit to make sure I wasn't going to be in the ground. Saved it. And then that's given me another reference point. So when I go in, I can see what it is I should be looking at. So let's go in now, have a look, and I'll show you what I've done. Right, well here we are. We're in FS17. I'm just going to go in and start a new game. Now, doesn't matter which one you pick out of these, but I would say don't save it because all I'm doing is going in to have a look. If you want a save game later on, but if you think about it, if there's anything in the save game that's going to cause a problem, then you need to know. But you don't want to go back to an old save game, and I see the problem when it just don't worry if you don't understand that too much. This is a standard sort of modding thing. Anyway, I'll go in, I'll choose easy, I'll go through the maps, and there it is, look, start map 4 times by Umshire, and continue on deselect all. Now what that does, if you didn't know, it will deselect every mod except for the map you're going in on. Now, so that my steering wheel works, I need this drive control thing, but you shouldn't need anything, to be honest with you. So you just start. Oh, we're in already. So here we are. Do you remember the career start point thing? I'll put it here, and right away I recognise where we are, so that's good. Rather lucky. And the vehicle will be in a funny place, so you get this pickup rodeo thing, and mine, look, it's down here. It's in sort of the middle of a field, so I'm just going to enter it, and here I am. Now, do you remember I moved across that file? It's called PDA something. It's this. It's this map. I'm not lined up. It's not lined up properly, but it gives me a bit of an idea of what's where I am and what the roads are. And if I press escape, it gives me something I can zoom in and try to figure out where I am. All right, so let's see. Now, right behind me is one of the roads. This is what I exported, and it seems to have worked, so that's really nice. Kind of lucky, really. Now, I actually happen to know where I am, so that's lucky. And I remember, look, remember we just did these lanes. Now this one, look, hasn't got. It's not. I don't know what that track would be. Actually, let's have a look. I know where that is. Of course, I know. You see this? There's a logging area down there, and a lane going down to it. I did say I'm not lined up perfectly. That's what that is. That's a logging thing up there. It was like a hill. I remember that. Yeah. So you can see how the demographics, or what? Not demographics. What do they call that? Anyway, you can see how things are kind of lined up, but and the hills that are in there. It's all going very nicely. If I drive on a bit, see what I'm going to do. Just drive on a little bit more. I'll go down there. That was the pigs, so I'm going to go and have a look at that. And you need to do is drive around a lot, look at stuff, test it. If you enable the console, you have to Google that. I can't remember what I did. You type debug equals 1 somewhere, but it's in one of the ini files. Anyway, so you can press the key which opens the console, and look, I've got errors already. Now, what's this? Error: could not parse GISL program, specular cause power, reflection gloss color. So this is all things errors. Oh, there's tons of them, look. So this is all going to be stuff from the map that needs to be fixed, but I mean that's okay really. I mean, you can see, look, it's the map. So error: added uncreate loaded object with duplicate save ID tip trigger station. So somehow it's just stuff, but I'm going to be deleting all the sale points and stuff and putting them in from new. But anyway, I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. So there's the pigs. I remember I could come through here and there's some fields and they were actually pretty flat. You need to, it helps if you know the old map. And I remember this lane was a pain to drive. Driving along it, it was so bumpy. So came along here and there should be a valley, and here it is. Actually, it was a bit of an empty place, but yeah. And if I go on a bit further, there's the village. Let's go carry on along here. I'm coming up some fields now. Of course, the fields won't actually show up very well, but you know. So yeah, there's a field here, and then they weren't perfectly flat. I remember that. Yeah, remember that lane, and then this went out there. This bit should be more or less flat. It was grass, and a bit of grass over there, field there. So I can see in my mind where things are, and that's a good thing. That's very good. And round here should be the farmyard somewhere. I'll get out. So down here, this is where the career start point. So this is where I started. Do you remember? Yeah, nothing will work. The gates won't work and so on. But the triggers to make them work are still there. That's why I'm getting those errors. It's that sort of thing. Now, the reason it's in here as temp... Oh, it's not that one. Is it this one? It's this one. This is the farm itself, the farmyard. Now, I'm going to replace some of this stuff. Now, some of it is okay. It's the textures. I want high res. Things like that. So, I'm going to be... I don't know about these. I mean, the windows look a bit naff, but they would. I know if you look... I've found if I look over here, look, I've got up there is okay, but these walls don't look quite right. And the way the window... I just don't like the building, some of these buildings. So, some of these buildings will go. I will replace them with other buildings, which I will find on the internet. I know this isn't going to work. This is a machine. It copied the sound over as well. That thing, I know it doesn't work. Or I don't think it will. Look at these. It looks awful, doesn't it? So I'll be replacing these buildings. I'll probably change some of the fields as well. Maybe flatten some out a bit as well, because they were a bit too bumpy for me. So that's why they're in temp anyway. I will go through, and as I add the proper buildings, I'll put them in a proper folder. Not called temp, called something else. Don't know what. I'll come up with a name when I need one. And there, I think I'll keep the church. It looks alright, but this thing, nah, this little shop, don't know. Don't think so. Anyway, so that's that. Now, do you remember when we were looking on Giants Editor, and I was saying, oh yeah, I remember there's that building. This is the one. So this is the thing I was looking at. This thing, and there was a track next to it. I think it was anyway. Now, let me just get back in here. Now, I want to go in an upwards direction, which I think is this way. Oh dear. I don't know. I can tell. Yeah, I'm pointing the right way. I'm going to go around. I'm going to show you one last thing. Now, I'm not going to do anything more. I'm not going to do any more to this map for a while, because what I'll be doing is I will be going through all those buildings. I will be removing triggers for opening of gates and so on and whatever. Probably remove the whole gate until I'm happy that I have removed everything that is causing these errors to come up on the screen. When they're all gone, and it'll take me a while to figure out what they all are, I suppose, I'll be able to maybe import something else, or maybe I'll just start doing stuff myself. I reckon I'll import the trees and replace them all. Something like that. Not too sure. I might replace the road textures. I'll have a look at what there is. If I don't, then I will export these and I will import them into a proper folder called roads or whatever, instead of leaving them in temp, and so on. So it's a question of do it a little bit at a time. Don't try and do too much. Do a little bit. Try and fix any errors you can find. If you can't fix the errors, start deleting stuff until you do, because you cannot have errors on your FS17 map. Do you remember there was a tree? Here it is. I put a tree and I put it over next to this stripy bit as a point of reference, and there it is. It's not on the floor, but it's probably my fault when I moved it. So that seems to have moved across properly, so I'm very pleased with that, and in general things are looking good. This is not exactly a tutorial. This is more me showing you what I have done. Let's call it the diary of a map, of moving a map or whatever.